Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. There are 44 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. 3 of the new cases are in the region that includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. Saskatoon has 20 new cases. Most are linked to outbreaks at nightclubs. 427 cases are considered active, 17 of those in our zone. 18 people are in hospital, with 2 of those in intensive care. 14 more people have recovered. The All Candidates Forum for the municipal election was held on Monday. All 18 candidates were in attendance to discuss their issues on topics sent in via email, where a virtual audience had the chance to get insight into every candidate's stance on issues that face the community.
Democracy is obviously very important, so we wanted the community to still have that opportunity to hear from all of the candidates. I think it's just super important to make sure that you are making an educated decision in your vote and that you can hear from all of the candidates.
Having events like these from the Chamber is still very important to have, even during a pandemic.
We do political advocacy on behalf of our members, so we advocate to municipal, provincial, and federal governments. So we believe it's very important to just be educated on politics within our community.
The municipal election will take place on November 9th. As the city continues to make decisions on a number of city-owned properties that are reaching the end of their life, the Centennial Civic Center and BioClean Aquatic Center are the latest to come before council. Eric Bay has more in the early stages of planning for both buildings.
The Civic Center has a lifespan of 5 to 7 years, making it a priority over the BioClean Aquatic Center, as council heard in a report Monday that included feedback from residents. While plans are being worked on that include potentially pairing a new rink with a swimming facility, the city will be waiting for other projects to come off the books.
I'd like to keep the Civic Center alive within reason as long as possible, just so that it gives us as much time as possible to do fundraising, obtain government grants, and go to the community and say we need to borrow this much money and this is what it's going to cost, because at the end of the day that's the biggest piece of the puzzle.
With planning in the early stages, Councillor Aaron Buckingham believes the city should continue to speak with the community in case thoughts have changed since the pandemic began.
But I think having that input on the needs versus wants of our community is going to be key going forward. And I don't think that's specific to this one project. I think that's going to be a reiterating fact that you're going to hear when the next council is elected. What do we want and what do we need? And I think that no matter what the project, we have to have those discussions going forward, or the next council will have to have those discussions.
Multiple options for the new rink were drawn up, with different locations available, giving the city plenty to think about.
It was discussed during the GPC meeting. Do we spread recreation around the city, or do you all quarter it off in one corner and everybody then wants to spend more time in that area? So there's a lot of work to be done from engineering, from planning, and from the community.
A recommendation to begin planning the Civic Center's replacement will be brought forward after the municipal election. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
A local property manager is among the 18 people running for a spot on Lloydminster City Council. Aftab Arif moved to Lloydminster in 2019 because he wanted to live in a smaller western town. If elected, Arif would like to promote business growth, especially when it comes to small businesses.
I want to make sure that there are more small businesses that the city government will bring into the town and help provide jobs. Small businesses are a backbone of any economy. Lloyd is no exception.
Arif would also like to focus on the social needs of the community by providing supports for young people to help deal with career, addictions, and mental health issues.
I want to start a program at Lakeland College where we are going to ask the federal government or the provincial governments on both sides of the border to get that funding and get that program started for the residents of Lloydminster, where youth can go in and find help that they need. And having that sort of help, they will be able to navigate their personal issues, mental health issues, as well as their addiction.
Healthcare is another big priority for Arif. He wants to see more healthcare funding from both sides of the border. With the Saskatchewan provincial election less than a week away and advanced polling starting today, this year's voting will look a bit different. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed the voting process for this year's election. Locations will now see more protocols in place to avoid the spread of the virus.
We'll have pandemic protocols in place at all our voting locations. So that means the physical distancing, lines and markers on the floor and signage to indicate where people should stand so we're not too close together. Hand sanitizer when you walk in for all voters to use. All of our workers will be in masks, and we strongly encourage all voters to wear masks as well. There'll be clear dividers up between voters and workers. When you're voting, there'll be single-use pencils.
A few locations across Saskatchewan will require mandatory masks due to the building's requirements, including 5 locations in the Lloydminster riding. This year also saw an increase in residents voting by mail.
There are mainly 3 ways to vote in this election: on election day, or at advance voting, or by mail. We had more than 60,000 applications for vote by mail ballot that we approved by the deadline last Thursday. That was something that we saw. It was a huge increase from the previous general election. And again, it was mainly people who wanted to participate but just either didn't feel safe or were immune compromised.
If you have COVID-19 and are still looking to vote, the Saskatchewan Health Authority will contact you to set up a different voting process. Advance polling is currently open until the 24th and runs from noon to 8. The Lloydminster Lions Club are having their 3rd annual Lions Sock Drive for Cold Feet starting October 19th. Our Shelby Clarks chatted with a member of the club for more details.
I'm speaking with Jean-Claude Dauphiné with the Lloydminster Lions Club. How are you today?
Very good, thank you.
Can you tell me about the Lions Sock Drive for Cold Feet coming up?
Okay, so we're having a sock drive there from October 19th to December 20th. We're asking for donations of new socks. We have 2 locations for drop-offs: Northern Factory Workwear and the Legacy Center. We're collecting socks for the men's shelter, such places like this men's shelter, drop-in center, and the interval home. So we're just collecting these socks so people can have warm feet and new socks.
And this is an annual drive. How many years has this drive been a part of the Lloyd Lions Club?
So this is our 3rd year. Last year we collected 325 pair. We're aiming to get more than that this year.
And will you be accepting any other items other than socks, or you're just focusing on getting fresh socks from people?
We're focusing on new socks because they're not as popular as like say gloves and toques. People seem to forget that socks, a nice warm pair of socks is a good thing. Sure.
And has COVID caused some obstacles for the Lions Club so far?
We have definitely with fundraising and stuff like that. It's been very difficult. With the sock drive, we were having trouble getting barrels into different locations. However, we found 2 very good ones. So.
And for the past 2 years, this drive has received tons of support in the past from residents.
Yeah, it has been it's been accepted by the community very well. So we're very excited again this year to get this going.
And do you believe people will show support this year during the pandemic for this?
I think so. This time of year is, and with the economy the way it is, I think it's very important. There's more and more people that need them. I think that people are, well, I know that people in Lloydminster are very giving, so I know we'll be very successful.
And is there anything else you want to add for the Lions Club that has planned for residents to know about?
nothing right now, but we do have, well, actually we do, we have our annual 50-50 draw that's going in boxes that are in different retails in town here. We'd like you to support that as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jean-Claude.
Thank you very much.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
This past weekend, the Lloydminster Bobcats hosted the Sherwood Park Crusaders in back-to-back exhibition games. Heading into the weekend, the Bobcats had previously tied a series in Sherwood Park. Evan Kenny has more on the weekend.
Friday night kicked off the first Bobcats home games of the season. While the players were present at the game, their heads were somewhere else for the first 10 minutes.
A really bad 7 minutes to start off the period, and then obviously it ended up costing us the game. We dug ourselves a pretty big hole. I think I look back on the weekend before that, and our first period overall in our second game, it just wasn't good as a whole either. So.
In that time span, the Crusaders would pot 2 power play goals and add an extra on the side. Throughout the rest of the game, the Bobcats would add 2 of their own, pushing till the final seconds of the third. There, some controversy would arise. As the homeboys had a chance to tie the game, the refs blew the whistle and called no goal.
That was a tough one. We watched the video again, and more than anything, I think the call was made well after the puck was in the net. Whether the net was off or not, I just really didn't like the delay in making the call. And that's a tough one because it ties it up. And we would pull our goalie for 2.5 minutes there and had a full pressure for 2.5 minutes other than one puck retrieval. So we pressed hard, and it's a disappointing one when you can lose it on their end. And for us, we got to make sure we're not in those situations, which we've caught ourselves in the first few games here.
While taking the loss, the Bobcats were still able to pick up some positives to continue on Saturday here at the Civic Center. The Bobcats found their team identity, physical, and on Saturday they continued to wear down last year's #1 team in Canada.
We're not looking at our guys to go and fight, but just the matter of finishing. And I think the bigger thing too is that we're not talkers. I think that's a big part of it with identity is being able to play your game, play it the right way, keep hockey the right way. And it's just on a matter of running your mouth for 60 minutes. And it's a matter of going out and doing what's needed. And I think that's a big thing. So, you look at our guys, I go back to it, usually when you're counting cowboy boots in the dressing room before the game, you know what kind of team you have.
The Cats may have beaten Sherwood Park physically, but on the scoreboard, not so much. Sherwood Park would pot the only goal with just under 2 minutes left in the game to win 1-0. The two teams will face off again this Saturday, once again at the Civic Center. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks a lot, Jasmine. Still fairly cold outside right now. We're still sitting at -5. As we move out a little west, we see a little bit of temperatures in the positives right now. In Edmonton, we see 0. We see -2 out in Edson with 1 degree in Rocky Mountain House and in Red Deer, and then 4 degrees out in Jasper. We also see -3s in Cold Lake and in Meadow Lake as well. -4 in North Battleford currently, with -2 in Saskatoon and in Prince Albert, with -3 in Melfort. Now, as we look up north into northern areas right now, -3 we see in La Loche, Buffalo Narrows, Larange, Walson Lake, and in South End. We see -1 right now up in Flin Flon, and then -2 right now in Stony Rapids. Now, as we look into northern Alberta right now, -3 for Grand Prairie, -1 for Grand Prairie, -3 in Peace River, then -4 in High Level, and -4 in Fort Chipewyan, with -2 in Fort McMurray, and then 0 degrees right now here in Slave Lake. Now, as we take a look at some temperatures down south now, +1 in Lethbridge with 5 degrees in Medicine Hat, 0 in Coronation, and then 2 degrees in Calgary and 3 degrees right now in Banff. Of course, southern Alberta did see a bit of snow as well over the weekend as well. But as we look into southern Saskatchewan, a little bit colder as we see -2s in Kindersley and Moose Jaw, -5 in Swift Current with -3 in Regina, and then -2 we see in both Estevan and in Yorkton. Now, as we look across the rest of the country, a little bit colder in some areas like in the Regina, as I mentioned, and Winnipeg sitting at -1 today with some cloud coverage there. We see 7 degrees in Quebec City with some clouds, 10 in Toronto, 12 in St. John's, and then 14 degrees in Halifax right now. 0 degrees in Edmonton with some cloud coverage, 13 right now in Vancouver. Up north in Yellowknife, we see -5 degrees and then -6 right now in Whitehorse. Now, as we take a look at temperatures for tomorrow, we are going to see -1 as our daytime high, but that wind chill will make it feel more so like -16, as we are going to see some wind coming up within over the 10 kilometers an hour. So it's going to be a lot colder. Make sure you bundle up and stay warm out there. And of course, be careful on the roads. They still could be pretty icy from the snowfall that we got last night. So -1 in Lloydminster for us tomorrow, as well as in Vermilion, Marwayne, Bonnyville, Cold Lake as well. -2 as we move out into Edmonton, and then -2 in St. Paul, with 0 degrees in Macklin for tomorrow, and then -3 up in Lac La Biche as well for tomorrow. 0 also we see in North Battleford and Meadow Lake, and then we also see -1s in St. Walburg, and then -2 up in Isle La Crosse. Now, here's a look at what we could see over the next 7 days. We are going to see a little bit cooler mornings and also a daytime highs, especially with the wind chill now in effect. We could see between -15, -16 range with the wind chill for Thursday, Friday. So -4 and -5 is what we are expecting, though. And there's a chance of some more snow coming our way on Saturday with that -5 and a 77% chance of some flurries. We go back to -4 on Sunday with those cold temperatures continuing, and we should see a little bit of sun on Monday with -2, and then 0 degrees the high for Tuesday. That's a look at your 7-day forecast for now. We'll have more prime time local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's edition of Pet Project. I'm joined once again with Becca Lawrence, the Community and District Outreach Manager. How are you doing this week, Becca?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So who do we got here today? Who's this little guy?
Well, this little big guy here is Salem. He's a bit of a cranky when you pick him up, so try not to pick him up too much today. But yeah, he's a big, lovable, big guy. I can't emphasize that enough. He's about 19 pounds of big old ball of love, and like I said, he doesn't like to be picked up too much. He doesn't care for other animals very much either. He was in a home with other cats previously, and he just kind of hid, and he didn't like them too much. So he would be best in a home where he's just kind of with him and his humans. And but yeah, other than that, he's all ready and good to go for the Fall Feline Frenzy adoption event this week.
There you go. So if anybody out there is looking for a cat to, give all your love to, this would be the guy. So Becca, we were speaking last week that you guys had some upcoming events for the fall. As you just mentioned, your Feline Frenzy event is coming up.
Yeah.
So why don't we let the people know, remind them what that event's all about?
Yeah, so that's all throughout this week here. So we started yesterday and it goes until Saturday. So that's we have our Wheel of Deals. So we are guaranteed a discounted adoption fee or even free. And yeah, so you can come and adopt. All of the pet stores like PetSmart and Pet Value that we are in partnership with, they also have their little wheels there ready for the adoptions. And so yeah, that's basically what we're doing with our Fall Feline Frenzy, just trying to find our overcrowded shelter full of cats some homes. And so yeah, so that's what our Fall Feline Frenzy is. And then we are also having our ultimate Popkin Patch Match contest. So we're hoping that we get a few more submissions of animal-related pumpkins, and then we'll post it on Facebook, and we'll we'll do some voting to see who has the best pumpkin, and they get to name a litter of kittens, and they get to win a prize.
Which is super exciting because I always love hearing the names that you guys come up with for kittens because they always seem to be on theme. They're always, you know, it always makes me laugh, to say the least.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a prize worth competing for, we'll say that much.
Yeah.
So Becca, how are you guys doing for cat numbers and dog numbers at the moment? Like, I know that you've been pretty full this fall, so how are things going with that? Like, I know hopefully, you know, we get some more out the door this week with the Feline Frenzy and such, but currently, how are you guys sitting for numbers?
Yeah, like, you know, we're like obviously, you know, like we fill up pretty quick with our cats. So I mean, we do have a couple open kennels, and then hopefully, you know, a lot more by the end of this week. But yeah, always, you know, always full of cats. And then we do have quite a few dogs in our care as well too. Most of them are up for viewing, and yeah, so I mean, we're a little bit higher for our cat numbers right now, or our dog numbers, sorry. And but I mean, we anticipate once they start getting spayed and neutered, they'll be flying out the door.
All right, well, that's good to hear anyway. So if anybody out there is looking for a dog, the SPCA does have some in right now, so certainly go and say hi. Becca, what about any other, I always love asking about your, you know, your off-brand pets, we'll say, because you guys oftentimes get in rabbits and guinea pigs and things of the like. So do you have anything odd in right now?
Yeah, we have two rabbits. One of them has been here for a few months now, so we're still looking for a home for her. Her name is Clover. And then we have a fairly new guy. He is probably the softest rabbit I've ever pet in my entire life. And he's very friendly. And we named him Kruger. He just got neutered yesterday, I believe, so he is good to find his forever home now too. And that's what we have right now for our off-brand animals.
Beautiful. Well, there you go. If anybody out there, you know, has room for a rabbit and wants something to entertain them, I know I used to have rabbits as a kid, and they are fun to play with because they do not stop moving when they want to. One last question for you real quick, Becca. Are there any physical item donations or anything of the like that you guys currently need? Are you low on cat food or anything like that, just in case somebody out there wants to drop off a physical donation?
You know what? We are actually doing really, really good for pet food. PetSmart and Pet Value have both done food drives for us recently. So Pet Value is actually still doing their food drive this month until the end of October. And we have got a serious influx of food from them. So that's really, really fantastic. And from obviously the community for donating it. And so yeah, for cat food and dog food, we're actually doing really, really well. I would say like the most things that we're looking at needing right now is like laundry detergent.
Okay, all right. So yeah, anybody out there, if you would like to drop off laundry detergent, help out the SPCA, you can. Or of course, you guys are always open to taking money because that helps all areas of operation. So that's all the time we have for this week. But thank you for joining us, Becca, and thank you, Salem, for stopping by. And we'll speak with you again next week.
Yes, for sure. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.
I'm so happy to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Michelle Charles Gustafson from Lloydminster. Now, Michelle, we've known you for being a personal stylist and all kinds of ventures, and today is a great day for you. Congratulations. It's the release of your new book.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited to finally bring this book and its message to the world. It's been a process.
Well, and the book title is called Show Up Confident. So tell me a little bit about what this is about, because as you know, confidence is something that people strive for and really sometimes do need lessons on how to do that. So tell me a little bit about this book, Michelle.
For sure. The title really came to me after I was trying to put a message together that change happens to all of us. And it's in those moments of big change in our lives and in transition that really we feel mixed up, right? Our priorities get mixed up. We feel almost aimless where we're going. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed. And I wanted to bring some of the lessons I know I've learned from dealing with grief, dealing with mental health pieces, to try and help people find some hope that there is new confidence and new resilience, even in the unexpected and in the uncertainty. And I know we've had so much uncertainty lately. So some of my early readers let me know that this message is just perfect for right now. Just trying to reevaluate ourselves and find some peace in everything that's going on around us.
Now, Michelle, who is your target audience for this? Is there a certain demographic or, you know, a certain group of people that you had in mind when you were writing this?
You know, I started out writing it for women because that's who I work with, and that women have a certain mentality about our confidence and how we want to build it, and when we're personal growth focused, we look at it in a certain way. So I wrote it from the standpoint using some of my clients as almost case studies, but also what I've learned as a woman, moving through different transitions. But here's what I found. I found that men found it very useful. I had a few readers who were just like, this is a universal message. This doesn't have to do just with women. We found value in it too. And also young adults. So young people starting out, teenagers, the message is universal. We all want to feel a sense of self-assuredness. We want to feel like our contribution is important. And that's not gender specific. That's all of us.
Now, how?
So that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, and Michelle, how did you get the confidence to write the book? Because this really puts yourself out there. And as with all authors, you know, it's kind of like putting their child into the world, and everybody gets to see it. And whether it's positive or negative, you're going to be getting feedback, and that's a big deal to get that out there. So where does your confidence come from to put out a book on confidence?
You know what? I actually said to a friend of mine, I said, it can feel like running naked down the street, okay? It's bearing. And in the book, I talk about my own personal experiences with building my own confidence from my family life, from my growing up life, going into university, young adulthood, and even into my business life, and where I found that I could harness those skills of confidence. So confidence is like a skill. It's something that we're doing all the time. And if you're very aware of the skill you're building, it's actually something you can use over and over again. So I get that question a lot, Michelle. How come you're so confident? It's because I've mastered the skill. And the skill has nothing more to do with understanding the why you do something, the intention behind it, the values that you use to create your own personal leadership in your life, and then making choices and decisions that align with it. A lot about confidence is about alignment. And when you get that right, you can do a lot of things you didn't think you could do.
Now, Michelle, you're obviously known for your style and for helping others find their style. And how important is, first of all, style with confidence? And secondly, for those who may be, especially in these times, on more of a budget, is there still ways where you can get your own sense of style without having to break the bank and still, you know, get yourself that confidence because you know that, say, even though you couldn't spend as much as somebody who's a fashion designer, you can still look good?
Yeah, you know, here's what I'd like to say about style. Style is one piece of seeing yourself confident and presenting yourself confidently. Style is really the expression of your inner self. And so when you look at what you want to put on your body, what you first need to know is who is in this body? What makes me special? What makes me have something important to share? And when you do that, it's actually possible to attach those values to what you wear. And that's my specialty. So understanding that every garment, every color, every piece you put on your body is actually symbolic of who you are inside. And when you do that, science has proven that that symbolism allows you to attach yourself to those attributes and those characteristics. And that's where you get a boost of confidence that comes from somewhere that seems like it's just putting on a shirt, but really is about something deeper. And so during these times when we are in places, stuck at home. Maybe we don't have all the occasion to think about putting on just a shirt. What I encourage you to do is really just tap into self-discovery. Tap into yourself. Understand what it is you want to do next, right? After all of this is over, what do you want to do next? And of course, I will always say to people, put on some color, because color is highly symbolic as well as very mood changing in terms of your psychology. And while you may not know everything about 3 levels of color psychology that I use with my clients, that's okay. The simple act of using hues to lift your mood will do that. So that's something that you can do, but know that the truest style, the most authentic style, the most authentic expression of yourself comes from knowing yourself first and then using that symbolism on your body.
Wow, Michelle, well, that's a powerful message, and I'm so excited to read this book and dig in. It just so many amazing things I can learn from it. I would love to chat with you more. We're out of time for today, but just one last message, Michelle. If people are interested in getting the book, how do they go about doing that?
That's easy. You go to showupconfident.com. All of the bits are there. There's ways to learn about the book and enjoy it. Enjoy its message and see what you can find out about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for speaking with us today, and congratulations once again. So exciting. Once again, Show Up Confident is available as of today. So thank you so much, Michelle, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon and seeing how things are going, and it's always interesting catching up with you.
Thank you so much for having me, Stacey.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. -1, our expected daytime high tomorrow. It could feel a little bit colder. We could go to -4, which that wind chill could go towards -15-ish. And then as we look into Thursday, there is possibility, though, we could see some flurries tonight. About 30% chance we get some into the evening. And then -4, as I mentioned, for Thursday with that low of -11, -5 on Friday. As we get into Saturday, there is a chance we could get some flurries there. It's 77% there. We look into Sunday, -4, the daytime high there with -2 on Monday with that low of -14. We could be it could change, of course, over the next couple of days as we get into later on in the week there. So it could be a little bit colder, but we are expecting some sun starting into that next week as well as into Sunday as well. We are expecting some sun and cloud periods as well. The averages usually for this time of year, we're averaging around 8 degrees for our daytime high and of course averaging -3 for our daytime low.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.